The time got away from me there just for a second, if anybody was there. But I was trying to figure out how to explain how I got on this topic because of today, and it was through the emails of my big brother Randy, who calls me the Prophet Paco, and even though he's he's still older than me, and when he sends me emails, it's pretty important I get to the bottom of what's on his mind. And this walk and talk about the woesome Jabberwocky is, needs to be taken, as that type. I'm not really implying anything. This is open to interpretation. And, the description, I think, talks about why do they put up people like Lewis Carrol, who was a sex pervert, and Oscar Wilde, one of the first persecuted homosexuals who was an author. And we wouldn't know about him unless everyone in the world, everyone, not only in the United States and Great Britain, everyone studies him. Thank you so much for being here. Now, check this out. We should check some stuff out. So here's these emails. We'll deal with this one first. Oh, I think I got some pictures. I should show this one. Yep. Yep. That's always good because everybody shows these in case we drop in some those video clips. But okay. So I didn't take a picture of that one. But this is kind of like, have you ever heard of this Mike Rowe? I guess he did 30 commercials for Tylenol back in the day because we didn't really know diddly squat when we were growing up. Full disclosure, I was born in 1958 when there were 48 states. Randy was born sometime way before that, like when Abraham Lincoln was still alive or something. Anyway, he's much older than me. So I want to save these pictures and just go back and just treat this as if it's a picture. Danger ahead. This will trigger biblical prophecy, the Iran war, and America's downfall. And this is a new one on me. I've heard them all, but this is a new one. So they've come up with a new one. And that Psalm 83 is the dividing point here that teaches the rapture. Somehow,
for your people, there'll be 69 weeks and then a final week. And after the 69th week, Messiah the Prince will be cut off, crucified. Jerusalem will be destroyed, AD 70.
Let me interpret that for you. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
And then there's this, what we call the interval, the gap.
That's the interval. That's who stops the clock, but they got a gap in at least to Psalm 83. I can't continue to make fun of this man. It's not my style. Oh my God, make them like whirling dust, like chaff before the wind, as fire consumes the forest, as the flame sets the mountains ablaze. Fill their faces with shame that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be put to shame and dismayed. These guys, the verse I skipped was the tempest and the hurricane. I think that this is the summer of the hurricane, right? Maybe. That they may know you alone. And it's Elyon. This is what the the grand total was here. So somehow, oh God, do not keep your peace. This is the new their new thing, man. Behold your enemies make an uproar. Those who hate you have raised their heads. They lay crafty plans. Crafty. That's like that Satan in the garden, right? Crafty. They consult together against your treasured ones. They say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Uh-oh. Yeah. So there is a time this had to be taken. This has to be dealt with right here. They say, come, let us. These crafty people that were in a big uproar and have laid up we know the treasured ones, David's offspring, King David. They're honoring David and those apple of God's eye covenant keepers. But now they're going to wipe them out? Oh no. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. That can't happen. Well, it didn't happen. And we, and I think this is a fulfilled prophecy from Esther. So in my mind, what came to me right away is that they conspired in one accord. They did have a covenant, and they got all of these nations, including the strong-armed children of Lot. They were giants. Do you know that? That's why they call them the strong arm. Or they were bigger and stronger, kind of like me. If I was bigger, for people my size, I'm usually stronger, but I'm not that big. But they're going to wipe them out as a nation. So let's consider it without really going over it, because this is in the book of Esther. What happened? That wicked Haman, because he didn't like Mordecai, and Mordecai was Jewish, he contrived a plan where he was going to wipe out all the Jews. And Esther had to go and, like, well, if I go there not invited, he could kill me unless he puts his sword out. Well, the wicked Haman was going to kill all the Jews. And so Mordecai reminded Esther, you're a Jew. They're going to kill you too. And she's like, well, I better go and talk to my husband. And sure enough, she showed up and he goes, Queen Esther, what's up? I love you. Here, touch the sword. You're good to go. What do you need? I'll give you half of everything I got. You're my favorite. And she said, I'm a Jew, and this Haman is going to kill us all. So I think that Psalm 83, as their last ditch, newest effort to solve something, is that if you know that these prophecies had to be fulfilled, and then you could just think about it for 10 minutes, you go like, well, where was it fulfilled? That they came within an hour or day of the whole nation being rubbed out legally because, Esther's husband, Xerxes, was tricked by that wicked Haman. He got home. He reaped what he sowed, right? So Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky. Huh. Nonsense poem written by the sex pervert. Now, he liked little girls. Now, the number one selling author of these 1800s, I forget his name, but he liked little boys. He wrote the stories about rag to riches, of how somebody, like Freemason rich money, spotted a feisty young man and said, you're a fine looking man. If I teach you how to talk, I bet you could be a world-class businessman. Will you let me mentor you? And then he became awesome. Alice, the queen, everybody knows about this. Mirror writing. That's what this book was supposed to be. She holds a mirror to one of the poems and reads the reflected verse of the Jabberwocky. Why do I have all these pictures up? What's this one? Okay. So they're saying, and I don't even want to imply that I'm talking about the Jabberwocky and something else is referred to as anything like that. If anybody is implying that I'm trying to say this was planned from a long time ago, that'd be ridiculous. Because how could somebody plan something in the 1800s that's taking place now? I thought these pictures are supposed to be able to click and then you go to the next one. That's what I think. I was saving these pictures wrong. Let me go to this and do it this way. So I had that one. I did have that one. Tylenol man. He got tricked. Still though, he was in a position to help them. I don't know. I'm going to be, he's really not a part of my world. I don't know why I saved some screenshots and don't save others. But I do know I did find this interesting, that supposedly the United States spends this much more than every other developed. Oh, wait, no, this is how many more of our children die than the rest of the world. And supposedly we spend 16 times more than other countries. We spend more than the other countries do. Something. And anyway, in these poems that I'm going to go over, the Jabberwocky, it's all about like death and scariness that is foisted upon this little girl for no apparent reason. I don't even know what's going on here. So anyway, this is going to be a short video because I've got to do some stuff with the stones. The rocks are crying out. Oh, it's only twice as much. We only spend twice as much as the average. So the question is, I guess what RJ is wondering is that we should talk to these other countries and go, how come our children are dying? And when did they start dying? Oh man, and I do want to get back to this, yeah, because here's that when the Mississippi split in two and Shreveport, while other people were cleaning out the canals of the Erie Canal and stuff, they started that in 1815. In the 1830s, they started cleaning out the river. And this is what it looked like, they say. It was backed up. I wonder if we're going to get into that. That guy did it. But that's for later tonight or maybe tomorrow. But anyway, hope that was interesting. I just wanted to cover some of this stuff. Oh, through the looking glass. He was a mathematician, lecturer at Christ Church. But for some reason, I thought he was a pervert. Anyway, he wrote the first version of the Jabberwocky. Oh, I'm sharing the screen. Yep. And that's where the word mishmash comes from. You ever hear of that one? Printed in 1855. Now, a mishmash is just, I guess, something that Lewis Carrol wrote for the amusement of his family for 7 years. And they have them all. And there was one of these interesting quotes from Alice, or she's like, It's a nonce word. When Alice had finished reading the poem, she gives her impression. It seems very pretty, she said when she had finished it, but it's rather hard to understand. You see, she didn't like to confess, even to herself, that she couldn't make it out at all. Somehow, it seems to fill my head with ideas. Well, maybe that's what it's supposed to do. Only I don't know exactly what they are. Maybe you're not supposed to. However, somebody killed something. We can all understand that. Somebody else is dead. Weird, right? And that's like the character Humpty Dumpty is in that Through the Looking Glass book. I think he was mentioned in the mishmash. It all came together, kind of like in the rest of the world, kind of like we read Frankenstein and Dracula that were, pretty much rough draft out on that same night of Lord Byron and was it Mary Shelley? She was a 16-year-old girl that he had statutorily raped while he was married to another person who, when he found out that he left her for another 15-year-old, because she was 15 when he married her, she threw herself in the river and drowned herself. And they went off to write scary books that became famous because they put out what they want, put out Jabberwocky. I haven't got time for this. This. It's either intuitively true to you or it is not. This is the world that's turned upside down. First published on a broadside in the middle of the 1640s as a protest against the policies of Parliament relating to the celebration of Christmas. I just thought that was a weird picture. So I'm there like, hey, let's look at this weird picture because we're looking at that reverse writing and everything turning upside down. And here I am again. I guess I'm only trying to bless RJ because I'm tying it into these obscure things. And I'm just hoping that he goes, good job. We got him, man. 2 or 3 witnesses. We're witnessing all the time. Good. Because this means something. And I just have to keep going, right? And I am the pentameter has been my whole life. And it's not easy for me because I like children. I have a few of my own. And I am so tired of people letting them die instead of giving them a drink of water. That's what this is all about. It's Flat Earth Nation, and the MudFlood was Armageddon. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? We know we're 1 called, 2 chosen, and 3 being faithful, trying to prove we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah.